Yep.
Record. Okay.
Sure can. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Eric has graciously agreed to help us kick off the summer and show us how we can use Teamzy for our benefit for that. So I've been using Teamzy ever since Xyngular found out about it. So I don't remember how long ago that was, 3 years, I think. And it's just been a huge help for my business, just organizational wise. I used to carry around, actually, I've got them here on my desk, like stacks of index cards. So I no longer have those. I don't have to get stopped at the airport with those anymore for them thinking it's a bomb or something. So I know some of you may already use it. Some may just be getting into it, but Eric is the CEO of Teamzy. He is just incredible. He knows his stuff. He is all about relationships and helping build those, and being a real person and being able to help us share Xyngular and be a real person. So Eric, I'm just going to let you take over and share with us about what you've got and kind of what your plan is for this group.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Tina. And so you guys, we have been, Tina and I have been hatching a plan. So if you've been invited by her today, she loves you. And so what we've been doing is trying to figure out how to get her team and anyone else, and all the other teams that she's invited to get into momentum this summer. And there tends to be kind of a summer doldrums in the business, which it's not natural, right? It's only natural because we don't work much. So just figuring out how to get into momentum. So I wanted to do a series of trainings for her, and this is the first one. And so what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you Teamzy. I know some of you may use it already, but some of you don't. So I'm going to show you Teamzy, how it works, how to set it up. It's really easy to do, and how it can really take you from being a hobby, having this business being a hobby, to being a real business. It doesn't mean that you can't still be part-time, because you can use Teamzy 30 minutes, 40 minutes a day and be a pro, right? So we're going to show you how easy it is to use, how it takes the business from hobby to professional, even part-time. We'll show you guys that tonight. I'm also going to teach you a little bit about relationship marketing, which is the system Teamzy's built on. Okay, and so we'll go into that a little bit as we go too. And people are popping on still, so I'm going to make you, Tina, a co-host. So if anyone comes on while I'm in presentation mode, you just let them in.
Sure.
Okay, just let them in. We'll let anyone in here. It's one of those kind of things. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. So this is tonight's presentation: how to systemize your success to become, how to systemize your success with relationship marketing to become a power hour boss. Now you can interchange relationship marketing and Teamzy, because Teamzy is a software that helps you work the relationship marketing system, if that makes sense. All right, so let's play this. A little bit about my backstory. I know not all of you have met me before. As Tina said, my name is Eric Johnson, creator and CEO of Teamzy, but I am not, and I say this with humility, I'm not a computer nerd. I don't really understand how computers work and software and all that stuff. So you guys think that I created Team, like literally wrote the code? No, that's magic to me. To me, it's what I did was this. I'll show you guys real quick. I had this out. I was showing another person today. What I did was this. On a piece of paper, I drew what I thought would work great. Somebody else built it, smarter than me. My background is as a business coach, business consultant. For 21 years, I've been helping people build relationships-based businesses. Okay, that's my background. That's my skill set, my giftedness, I would say. And it's been an amazing journey helping business owners do that. About 7 years ago, I fell into the direct sales network marketing space by accident. I found some products I really liked them, and I was excited to share them with other people. How many of you guys, that was kind of your situation? And as I started looking at what a great opportunity this is, I mean, right? It's like a great little side hustle. I could create unlimited income. I don't have to do any investment. This makes a lot of sense. I immediately started applying the principles I'd been teaching for years. My business grew quickly. What I found within about 2 months was, oh my gosh, I need software. There's no way I can do this on pads of paper, on whiteboards, or I never even got to the index card thing. But you know, Tina, that's a pretty good idea, the index cards. I just knew that I needed software, and I had worked with tons of different business types. They all had tools, technology to help them. So I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. That's kind of how Teamzy came to be. But I want you guys to really understand why I got into this space. Here's a shot of the family. And like, these are my people. How many of you guys, your family, like that's the center of your world? Yeah, me too. And the challenge was even though I loved my job, I loved coaching business owners, I loved, working on people's business plans, all that good stuff, I was never home. I just never saw my family. And it was really bothering me as my kids started getting older, that I felt like I was going to miss their whole childhood. I used to joke that I only saw my kids in their pajamas, right? When I left for work, they were in pajamas. When I came home from work, they were back in pajamas. And I really wanted more. And I saw the direct sales opportunity as a way to create that space in my life where, one, where I wouldn't have to worry so much about finances, and two, where I'd have time to be with my family. Can you guys relate? The challenge was, how am I going to build this business? I'm already so busy. And I just didn't know how I was going to add a whole nother thing to my life, even though I knew it was for a short time. And so when I looked at my time, I did a time audit. You guys ever do a time audit where you look at your calendar and you look at where you're wasting, I should say, where you're investing time? You put it this way: you should be investing time, not wasting it or spending it, right? We want to be investing time. I did a time audit and I said, you know what? I could do 1 hour a day towards this business and still have somewhat of a life. And so I started looking for the tools to help me leverage my time for that 1 hour, and they didn't exist, which is why you saw that little sketch in the notebook. That's why Teamzy came to be, right? I knew that if I had a tool or an assistant, I couldn't afford an assistant. How many of you guys have a paid assistant? I couldn't afford an assistant, so we built the software to be the assistant. So once we had the tool in place, I knew I was ready to take off. And that's kind of what happened. I shared it with some people I knew, and it just took off. People started sharing it. And now in just over 6 years, we've served more than 150,000 people in the direct sales network marketing industry. And you guys probably know these numbers, but our average users, our active users, I should say, are averaging 21 new customers and 9 recruits over 90 days. So 21 new customers and 9 recruits over 90 days. If that is what your numbers look like, great. You're doing great. You're right in the center. Perfect. If you'd like to get up there, then let's get using Teamzy or above, right? Okay. And real quick, before I dive into my presentation, I want you guys to mark your calendars for the next workshop, which is going to be June 7th at 8 p.m. Central. June 7th, 8 p.m. Central. Okay. And on this today, and I'm going to show you guys Teamzy, and I'm going to talk about relationship marketing. June 7th, I am going to be teaching you how to get into momentum. Now, you definitely don't want to miss it. Okay. I'm going to give you the how-tos on how to get into momentum. And I'm going to share a special program that Tina and I have put together specifically for you guys. So we'll share that on the next call, June 7th, mark your calendars. Okay. So let's dive into this concept. What is relationship marketing? What is relationship marketing? And relationship marketing is one of those things that's starting to become a buzzword, though I really haven't met anybody who could really describe what it is, right? It's like, it's all about relationships. I can't even tell you how many times I've heard a speaker say it's all about relationships. And then they teach, things that are not about building relationships, right? So we want to really get to the heart of the matter. First of all, relationship marketing is a philosophy of doing business that puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. It's a philosophy of doing business that puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. This is so important because in our industry, there's a lot of skepticism. There's a lot of kind of like a negative reputation, right? And it's because for so many years, our industry has put the impetus on getting the sale, not on building the relationship. And so people are just kind of wary. Like, are you just trying to get a sale from me, right? It's been a self-centered approach. We want to flip that on its head and be like, no, the relationship is what's most important. I'm here to invest in the relationship, right? And by knowing that we're building relationships, we know that we will create lots of opportunities for sales and recruits. Also, relationship marketing is not some abstract feel-good concept. This is a proven system that we follow, always knowing what to do next. Okay, it's a proven system that we follow, always knowing what to do next. How many of you just want to know what to do next? We'll get there. So what is relationship marketing? Last piece here that I want to share with you tonight. Relationship marketing is a lead generation system. It's a lead generation system. And that's a system that initiates consumer interest or inquiry into the products or services of a business. So at the end of the day, you guys, I mean, I know that you're salespeople. I know that you help people, you coach them, you counsel them. But as the owner of the business, your primary role is lead generation. It's lead generation, right? For example, how many of you ever worked in a restaurant or a bar, hotel, places like that? Yeah, great. So you guys have had the advanced sales training. But here's the situation, you know, when you work in a restaurant, for example, and I put many years behind the apron myself, you know, your job is to serve the customers. But the owner of the restaurant their job is to bring customers in. Right? Does this make sense? Your job wasn't to bring the customers in, it was to serve the customers. Now you guys own the restaurant. Make sense? So yes, you're the waitress and you're the bartender and you're the dishwasher, right? We're doing it all. But the point is your primary role is to bring customers in. That's lead generation. Lead generation. So I want you guys to get this concept in your minds, which is that you are in the lead generation business. That's your business. So if you're doing work during the day, that's not lead generating work, then you've been busy today, but not productive. Does this make sense? And this is kind of like the yardstick. Now, there's a lot of things we do that's not lead generation, but we want to make sure that we're touching the lead generation circle daily. And that's really what Teamzy is going to help you do. And we'll get into the details of Teamzy in a minute. But I wanted you guys to get that concept. Next principle, developing and deepening relationships is your paramount duty as a business owner. Developing and deepening relationships is your paramount duty as a business owner. It's not just a nice way to build business. You guys, this is your duty. You want to build a successful business, you must build relationships. Okay. Now, here's the good news is that we take those relationships, we focus on building them so that we can create advocates. So we turn relationships into advocates by investing time and providing outstanding service. An advocate is somebody who's so excited about what you're doing, they feel compelled to tell other people about it. Does this make sense? Now, this is an important concept in relationship marketing, everyone, because the traditional approach in our industry is, you know, you just message everybody, you approach everybody with your offer. Check this out. This is great. Watch this video from corporate, whatever. Try this sample. Tell me what you think. We just go after everybody, right? And we're looking for those rare people who say yes. And we're supposed to just kind of have thick skin and not worry about all the rejection. And when they do reject us, we toss those people aside. We keep going, right? Isn't that kind of what we've been taught, sort of? Yeah. But with relationship marketing, we recognize that people might not be interested in our business or our products, and they can still become advocates for our business. They can still think what we're doing is really cool and connect people who we can help to us. And actually, that's very common. A lot of the people that you would traditionally say bye-bye and take off your list can become great advocates for you. Does this make sense? It's kind of like if you were my good friend and I knew you were an amazing electrician, and I don't think I need an electrician right now, I wouldn't have you come over. Does this make sense? But if I knew somebody who had electrical problems, you'd be the first person I call. Does it make sense? All right. By the way, you guys get a bonus. Every time I say it doesn't make sense, you get a bonus. You add them up. We'll see how many I get by the end. Okay, next piece. This principle is a big one. Relationship marketing depends on trust. Oops, sorry. Hold on a second. Let me just let this person in. Relationship marketing depends on trust. In other words, if you're a jerk, this ain't going to work. It's not going to work for you. This is so important. You guys, one of the reasons that I got back into this game with direct sales is I was just, is appalled too strong a word? I can say appalled. I was appalled at what was being taught. To me, it rang disingenuous. They were techniques and approaches to the business people were finding effective. They didn't seem genuine to me. I didn't like it. And so just to kind of give you guys that little backstory, I joined the business. I wasn't with Xyngular. I was with a company called Beachbody. I joined the business. Things started moving. They were having a national convention 2 weeks after I joined. I went because as a business coach, I knew how important conventions and meetings are to your energy when you're building a business. And so I knew I had to go. I went and I'm watching all the speakers on stage and I'm going, are you serious? This is what you guys are doing, right? And I just decided I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm not going to do anything that puts a pit in my stomach or makes me feel uncomfortable, because that's not how we build a relationship marketing business. And you don't have to. I'm here to tell you guys, honestly, I've seen it all. This is the most effective approach to the business. It does not require you to do anything other than to be authentic and honest and never violate the trust that you're building with contacts, with your prospects, your customers, your teams. Does this make sense? Now, here's the good news. When you build trust, it's fun. Trust makes the work fun because you don't have to convince people. You don't have to sell them. You get right to helping them. And that's why we're here, right? Also, trust removes the ickiness from the sales process. You know that icky feeling that sometimes you get when somebody thinks you're trying to sell them something, you're really trying to help them, right? I understand that there's still a sale that's happening, but there's a difference in the approach of just trying to make a sale and really trying to find a solution for somebody. So when you're building trust, there's no ickiness on either end, and you get to go for yes. Instead of the going for no, where you're going to get lots of rejection, you're building people up. You're building up relationships. You're making deposits in the trust account with people. They're warm, they're friendly. It's fun to talk to them, and you're working towards an army of yeses. You with me? So how do we build trust? I want to give you guys some actionable items that you can take with you tonight on how to work on building trust intentionally with the people you're talking to. So there's 4 essential ingredients to building trust. Let me go through them quickly and then I'll break them down for you. Number 1 is chemistry. Okay, chemistry. And number 2 is character. Number 3 is competence. And number 4 is consistency. Okay, get those? Chemistry, character, competence, consistency. So chemistry is creating a connection with someone. That's all. It's just creating a connection with someone. Where do you have common ground with them? What is it about you they can relate to? Building this, finding the chemistry, building this connection, rapport is another word. This is important. And here's why. People prefer to do business with a friend. People prefer to do business with a friend. And what's funny is you watch all these movies, like these 80s and 90s movies, like with the high-powered business people or the mafia, and they're always like, it's not personal, it's just business. Well, it's baloney, because business is personal. The best kind is, does it make sense? The best kind is personal. And that's what people want. They want to do business with a friend. They want to feel good about knowing you. So we want to take some time to build that rapport and get to know people and just find what we have in common with them. Number 2 is character. Okay, character. Character is when you demonstrate how much you care and that you're relatable. So don't tell me that you care about me. Show me. Demonstrate it. Does this make sense? People are constantly assessing each other's character. All over the place, right? And it's based on what we do. Somebody cuts you off in traffic. What do you think of their character? I'll ask your spouse. You probably say it out loud, right? So it's like we are constantly looking at how people demonstrate care. Ironically, by the way, not ironically, but driving in traffic is a good way to demonstrate your character. I mean, all these things matter, right? Are you showing people that you care about them or only yourself in your life? This is how you show up to your prospects, how you follow up, how you take care of your customers and your team members, how you show up in the world, right? Are you a good tipper? Are you friendly to people that serve you? Do you return the shopping cart at the Target parking lot? Are you a courteous driver? All these things reflect on your character because they're opportunities for you to demonstrate care for others. Make sense? This is your number 1 marketing tool, is your character. The second piece that you need to be relatable, which is just that people need to be able to relate to you. You guys, when you are, at the top of the food chain and super successful and wealthy and living that life, you need to keep telling the story of how you started so people can relate to it. And I see people do this all the time where they just like, look at me, The $1 Million Club, isn't this cool? And they forget to tell the story of how they started. People stop relating. Yes, they want that, but it's hard to follow people that you don't relate to. Does this make sense? So it's about your character. Number 3, competence. Competence. Competence is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do and you're a business person. Competence is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do in a business and you're a business person. So I need to know that you know what you're doing, right? Can you help me? When you talk to me and you're uncovering my wants and needs and my problems, can you provide a solution based on real professional competence? Do you know which Xyngular products do what? How can it help me in my situation? Do you know stories of other people? Look, I know you guys can't make health claims and things like that. So can you tell me stories of people like me who had a similar problem to me, who had a certain type of response to the products, right? Do you have that up your sleeve ready to go? Do you? So that's the first piece. You know, there's a lot of people I could buy Xyngular from. Why you? Do you know what you're doing? So first off, I want you guys to know this is you need to be competent. You need to be an expert on your products. If you're not, get your learning cap on, go to school, lean into people on your team who know more, ask questions, get into the back office and take every training thing that they've got, watch every video that they've got. Does this make sense? But mostly, more important than anything is learn stories. If you don't have a ton of stories, you haven't helped a lot of people yet, get to know the stories of people on your team so that you can share those stories. The second piece of this is the business end. Why should I join your team? Do I believe you can mentor me in this business? And you may not have that confidence yet. That's okay. But this is where we want to get to, right? So when you're new, your job is to really focus on this is a business, right? If you were to buy a taco truck, you would learn everything there is to know about running a taco truck, wouldn't you? So this is your business. You got to figure it out. Now, one thing that's very important, we're talking about trust. Do not pretend to know more than you do. Don't be fake, be real. So here's what you do when you're newer and you don't have that level of competence you want yet, is you lean into your team, you lean into your upline, you tell their stories, you talk about them, you brag about them, you let people know the team you're a part of. See, everybody wants to be part of a great team. Say, you know, when you join me in my business, yeah, I'm a little bit new, but I'm being mentored by some of the top leaders in the company. And when you join my team, you will be too. Does it make sense? I used to, one of my former mentors used to talk about the New York Yankees. I'm not a big Yankees fan because I'm from California, but I spent 10 years in New England. So we're more like Red Sox country, but that's not the point. It's an analogy. At the time, you know, in the late 90s, early 2000s, the Yankees just won. They just won all the time. They were always winning, right? Do you guys remember that? I don't know if you guys are baseball fans, but the point is they were a championship team. And we used to talk about when you join a championship team, it doesn't matter if you've never played. It doesn't matter if you've never been off the bench. As soon as you put on that jersey, you're part of a championship team. Does that make sense? And so it's like you may not have had any time on the field, but here you are, part of a championship team wearing the same jersey as the world champions. And that's the way you guys need to feel when you're new and you're insecure about some of these things, is that you might be the rookie, but you're a rookie on a championship team. And you need to have that swagger as you talk to people and that confidence to say, you know, any question you can come up with is a text message away. We've got it covered between me and the rest of my team. We're good to go. Are you with me? Chemistry, character, competence. The first 3 of the 4 C's. There's a principle behind these that I'm just going to highlight quickly and we'll move on. But here's the principle. When someone's thinking of doing business with you, they really only care about 3 things. Can I trust you? Do you care about me? And are you good at what you do? Can I trust you? Do you care about me? And are you good at what you do? You guys, this is, now they may not say these out loud. These are more like emotions that they feel, right? But these are important because if people feel these are a yes, you're going to have an advocate. If they're not sure about any of these, they hope they're a yes, but they're not sure yet, they'll raise objections. Do you guys ever get objections? So what's an objection? An objection, by the way, is a good thing. An objection is somebody saying, I want to do this. I just need a little more from you. Why? Because I'm not sure if I can trust you. I'm not sure if you care about me, and I'm not sure how good you are at what you do. It's one of those or all three of those. Does this make sense? So what we need to do as we build relationships, as we build trust over time, well, they'll feel good about these questions. They'll become our advocates. In the beginning, we have to earn that trust. Are you with me? Now, if you violate the trust and they don't think they can trust you, or they don't think you care about them, or they think you're incompetent, they will not do business with you. And they will go out of their way, way out of their way, to prevent other people from doing business with you. Have you guys experienced this? I mean, probably not for you, but I mean, with companies you do work with, right? Where you're just like, I'm never going to use them again. Don't ever use them again. Here's why. That's the way people are wired. So this is super important that we never violate this trust and we understand it. Now let's jump over to number 4. Consistency. Consistency. You want to build trust? You got to be consistent. I'm a girl dad. I have 2 girls, 4 kids, 2 and 2. But my 2 girls, I've been teaching them about boys. It's important. I'm starting them young, 5 and 10 right now, the girls. I said, if a boy ever says, trust me, don't trust them. Right? Because why? Because someone who says, trust me, is usually untrustworthy. How do you know they're trustworthy? If they're consistent. If they're consistent. Do you know what the opposite of consistency is, by the way? In our leadership development program, LEAD, we talk about this. We do a whole thing on this. The opposite of consistent, if you look up the antonym, it's unpredictable. So consistent or unpredictable, right? Of course, you don't trust somebody who's not consistent. They're unpredictable. Consistency is how we build trust. Consistency is how we build success too, right? Everything that we become successful in, it's something that we've done consistently. I love this principle. People respect consistency and they desire it for themselves. People respect consistency and they desire it for themselves. What this means is that as you're being consistent in your business, not only will you become more successful by being consistent, but people will trust you more and they want to be around you. It draws people to you. People want to be around others they see being consistent. They desire that in their lives. How many of you have been told, gosh, you inspire me. I'm so inspired by what you're doing. And you think, me? I literally put my pants on backwards this morning. You're inspired by me? No, they're inspired. Yes, they're inspired by you, but mostly because they see you being consistent. They see you striving for that. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So just talking about consistency, there's certain things, you guys know this. You've got to be consistent in certain areas if you want to be successful in this business. One is you've got to be a consistent product of your own product, right? You guys know, how many of you guys are consistently a product of your own product? You use the products, it's your good. I mean, if you're not doing that, forget it, right? Number 2, how many of you consistently are sharing your journey, sharing what you're doing on social media, for example? Okay. So that's an important thing too, right? It's super, social media can be annoying, but it's also a gift. It's an incredible gift for our business because it allows us to reach people all over the world with common interests, which is really cool. But when we talk about building relationships, you guys, this is where what matters is, are you consistent with your relationships? Are you consistent about staying in touch with people? Because I will tell you, you know, we talked about how building relationships is your duty as a business owner. There's really only one way to build relationships, and that's by being in touch with people consistently, right? I like to say it's a contact sport. You have to be in regular contact with people if you want to build a relationship with them. I understand that you have just this much time. That's why we built Teamzy, and I'll show it to you in a second. It streamlines all this so you can get it done in like 30 minutes. Seriously, 30 minutes a day. It's amazing. Here's the big principle of the night, though, that I just want to leave with you. We'll talk about it for a second, and then I'm going to jump into Teamzy and show you those screens. But this is the big principle I want you to take away tonight is this. Investing time and connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Investing time and connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Okay, real quick, let me just look at your faces here for a second. And if you guys are decent, turn your cameras on so I can see you. Okay. How many of you have ever received, yes, I love seeing those faces. After a whole year of people wearing masks, I love faces. I find myself staring at people. Now, there's people, do you guys do that? Just people watching all the time, like, wow, this is so cool. Okay, so how many of you have ever received a great letter or card handwritten from somebody you love? And when you opened it and read that handwritten message, it just, man, just got you right in the heart. Have you all received one of those, or two, or maybe dozens? Yeah. Okay, so as you're thinking about these cards and letters that you've received, did you keep it? Did you save it somewhere? Yeah, there you go. How many of you have a stack or a stash or a crate or a box of these somewhere, a drawer full of them that you've kept? Isn't this amazing? Okay, now, how many of you have moved in the last 5 years? Anybody move house in the last 5 years? Did you bring this stash of cards and letters with you, or did you throw them away? You brought them with you. Amazing, right? You might have even thought of it. Do I want these? Yeah, I got to keep them. Isn't this cool? I mean, this is something we all have in common. You guys, I have taught this course in the most random of places, Indonesia. And they're all like, yeah, we save our cards. It's something that we all do. Now let's talk about another example. How about these? These are little birthday postcards that I got from my life insurance person. Do you guys ever get these from businesses? Like a little happy birthday, hey, it's your birthday. It's time for your rabies shot. My dog gets those from the vet. Happy birthday, time for your rabies shot. You guys, they go right in the trash, Christine says. They go right in the trash. She's way ahead of me. Christine, you're my star student today. You're way ahead of me. They go right in the trash, don't they? We don't save these. Now, why is it? And this is the point I'm trying to make. If you want to deepen a relationship, you need to invest time and connect with someone. This requires zero investment of time, and we know it. Since they invested no time in it, we put no value on it. Also, this is not personal. It's bulk, right? It's impersonal. It's like a bulk mail out. In fact, it says happy birthday to you, whoever that is. Doesn't even have my, they didn't mail merge the name. How hard would that be, right? To mail merge the first name, but they didn't bother. It's not personal, required no time. We don't value it. Meanwhile, somebody spends 2 minutes of their life writing in a card, you save it forever. This could be from a spouse who spent 5 minutes last night telling you how much they care about you, but when they spend 2 minutes writing in a card, you save it forever. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it's the principle, investing time, personal connection. That's what deepens relationships. And we can get distracted by all these shiny new marketing ideas where, like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to save me time. Oh, I'll be able to message everybody at once. Oh, I'll be able to do all this bulk. And this is how it feels on the other end. Less value, less connection. So what we did with Teamzy, and I'm going to show you this in a second, was we made it so that you could quickly and efficiently make a personal connection with a lot of people in a short amount of time, right? But there's still individual messages. We just help you do it quickly and efficiently. People have, it's a high value impact because people think, oh my gosh, they just took that time out of their day to connect with me. Does this make sense? And what we do with the system is we help you systemize your contact and your care. So rather than just being thoughtful every once in a while when, you know, the spirit moves you, now you've got a system keeping you on track, regular contact, regular care, so that your relationships just blossom. Okay. Now, real quick, let's see. I think I'm done with my slides. Let's see real quick. Let's see. So you got that. Investing time, connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. That's our big principle. And this is all great, right? How many of you are thinking, okay, I like what Eric's teaching. This, I feel good about this relationship marketing. But it's, remember, it's a system at its core, and you need a system. You can't just think, oh, I like this approach. You got to have a system to apply. You need a way to stay in contact with all of your relationships. You need to know when to contact them, and you need to know what you're going to say, so you don't stare at your screen all day trying to think of what to say. And you want to make sure that nobody ever falls through the cracks. Okay, so let me show you Teamzy, because that's exactly why we built it. Where'd we go? Share screen. Am I doing okay since I'm being up since 2? Okay, first of all, how many of you are not using Teamzy now? Do we have some that aren't using Teamzy? If you're not using Teamzy, go to teamzy.com/Xyngular to start a free trial. Okay, you get it 2 weeks for free. You get full access, so you can try it out. Teamzy.com/Xyngular. Okay, once you sign up for your free trial, this is what you'll see. This is the first screen of the setup wizard. It's called that because it does it for you like magic. Super easy. Okay, so there's a little video from me. We'll skip that. First thing I really want you to focus in on is this page where we're going to set your income goal. What's your income goal? And this is a year from now. So if you work Teamzy religiously for a year, what income do you want to be at? And you can see my goal was 150,000. Now you can go lower by sliding this little dot, or you can go higher. Okay. So wherever you put it, you'll notice that the daily targets change how much work you need to do. So at 150, which was my goal, I need to connect with 9 prospects, 6 customers, and 4 distributors on my team each day, 5 days a week. Okay. 19 connects. Now I can do 19 connects in 15 minutes. You, as a new person, might take 30 minutes. I mean, you could take 4 hours if you're a big overthinker. Do we have any big overthinkers? Okay, that's okay. I'm the same way. I had to learn not to overthink. It becomes a discipline. So I'll show you guys how to do it without overthinking in a second. So once you have this the way you want it, I'm just going to refresh that page. You click on continue, and it sets up Teamzy to your goals. So each of you have a customized dashboard. The next step here is we're going to get all your contacts into Teamzy. So what we want to do first is get your contacts from the Xyngular back office into Teamzy. All right. So if you click on back office, you'll get some instructions on how to do it. Okay, there's a video there, and it'll help you get it in there. So what you want to do first is get your team imported into Teamzy. Now, if you have 2 people on your team, you don't need to do an import, just add them, right? But if you have 150 people on your team, you'll want to do an import. Same thing with your customers. If you're new and you only have a couple, then you can just add them. But if you have a list on the back office, then we'll show you how to bring those over. So you want to get your team in, then your customers. And then if you need a list of prospects to work with, a great place to start is your Facebook friends. And you can import those with one click on this button right here if you're in Chrome. Okay, if you're in Chrome. If you don't use Chrome, you can click where it says Facebook and you'll get instructions on how to get your Facebook friends imported through any other browser. Okay, but this one-click sync is pretty slick, I will say, and it'll import them and you can start connecting with people right away. So we want to get your contacts imported into Teamzy. And if you ever need help, you guys, we have an amazing team at Teamzy who can answer questions. You'll see on the bottom right of every screen this little floating help button. You click that and you can send us a question. Okay, and the team will answer it. You can also, I want you guys to look up here at the top, see where it says schedule one-on-one? You can schedule a one-on-one Zoom with my team. They're real human beings, not robots, who will do a live Zoom with you and walk you through setting up your Teamzy. So if any of you have any sort of intimidation factor with setting this up, forget it. Just schedule a one-on-one. It's free. We don't charge for it. Okay. One of my business partners wanted us to charge $500 for the one-on-one because a lot of other softwares do that. I was like, no, we don't need to do that. I want to make sure that we remove the barriers. Does that make sense? Now, if you guys are one of those folks that kind of likes to handle stuff yourself, then you'll click on Help Center right here. And there's FAQs, videos, just about anything you would need there. Cool? So don't let any sort of worry or intimidation about figuring out how the setup goes slow you down. Just ask for help proactively and get into it. You with me? Okay. So now we're on our Teamzy dashboard. And when you look at this, you can see these activities that I need to do today are based on those goals we just set. So it's asking me to connect with 9 prospects, 6 customers, and 4 distributors. See how I've got zeros because I haven't done any work yet. It's also asking me to log shares. So shares are when you actually share the business opportunity or share a product solution with somebody. See over here on these 3, I'm just going to connect, and I'll explain that in a second. We're just going to connect. Here, I'm going to look for opportunities to share. I'm going to log those, and I'm going to look for new people to add to my Teamzy every day, and I'm going to log those. Okay, I just added Tina, so I have 1 ad. Are you with me? Okay. So let's go through this really quick. I just want to show you, without taking too much time, how easy this is to use. So we've got all our contacts in Teamzy. There's one more step to do, and that is ranking your contacts. Now you'll notice how each person here has a number next to their name. If I go over to the team page where all my contacts live, you'll see that everyone has a rank, right? If I click on somebody, they all have a star rating, somewhere between 1 and 5 stars. So there's a cool mode right here on these 3 dots that lets you rank mode. So you can turn it on for the whole list. And what you'll do when you first set this up is you'll turn this on and you'll just scroll the list. Now notice almost everybody's 3 stars because that's how they default in. They default in as 3. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're not actually going to rank everybody in here. You're just going to scan for your favorite people. And when you see one, you rank them up a star or 2, right? So leave everybody at 3 because most people will be at 3. And then when you see somebody you love or you like, or you think is going to be great, you can rank them up a little higher. The more stars, the higher priority in Teamzy. Are you with me? Now, going back to the dashboard, Teamzy keeps track of all your contacts. It'll track all of your conversations, messages you send, the name of their dogs, their spouses, their anniversary, all these details that you keep about people. It'll keep all that for you. But what it does that's extra special is this Power Hour module right on the front. Right here, see this? It takes all the data that's sitting in there, like an electronic filing cabinet, or like Tina's box of index cards. And it brings them forward and says, here's what you need to do today. Here's how many people you need to connect with on your 4 lists: prospects, customers, distributors, and follow-ups. Okay. And here's who's up next. So what Teamzy does is it cycles the whole list of contacts so nobody ever falls through the cracks. 5-star people come up first, then 4s, then 3s, then 2s, right? And then what happens is when I connect with somebody, depending on their star rating, it'll reset them to come back again. So for example, I'm going to do my prospects first. I need to connect with 9 people. Okay. Teamzy gives me 5 at a time. That's so I can't get overwhelmed. Keeps it simple for me, right? The first person on my list is Jay. I'm going to connect with her. She's a 5-star person. So when I log this connect, which we're going to send her right now, it'll reset her for 30 days. Because she's 5 stars, 30 days, 4 stars, 60 days, 3 stars, 90 days, 2 stars, 120 days. Simple, right? So depending on how many stars is how often I'll be in touch with them. Okay. And it does it automatically. I don't have to think about this. I just log in. I'm going to start connecting. First person on my list is Jay. I'm going to message her. And my goal, by the way, my goal is just to make her day. That's it. I call it the make someone stay mindset. It's just to make her day. That's the goal. I just want her to be excited to hear from me. So how do we do it? What do we say? People always struggle with what to say. So I put all of my scripts that I've refined literally over 20 years, you guys, with thousands of clients. We've refined these scripts. We call them make someone's day scripts. I have coaching clients that call them MSDs. Cracks me up. It sounds like a drug, right? They're addicted to MSDs, make someone's day. So these scripts are in here for you to use. They work great. So what you'll do is just grab scripts. See where it says scripts, click on it. And then what's appropriate? How are you going to connect with this person? So I'm going to message her on Facebook. So I'll click on Facebook. And then I'm just going to grab the first one, connect number 1. Here's how it reads. It says, hi, Jane. Just stopping by to say hello. How are you? I hope your day is awesome. It's super simple. So just copy that script. Okay, paste it in there and then do your editing. First thing you want to do is get the correct name. And when you start a new chat with somebody, always use their first name. Don't do any of those hey girl messages, okay? First name, because it needs to be personal, right? You do not want them to think you're using one of those project broadcast things right now. You want them to know it's just for them. Okay. What else? I might add an emoji in here just to kind of personalize it a little. A couple of, I just grabbed the first 2, but whatever emojis you want. I actually had a Teamzy user in the UK who said, Eric, we don't say awesome. That's such a yank thing to say. And I said, then say, I hope you're having a great day. Okay, just don't overthink. And then a couple other people on the call were like, well, we do too say awesome. They got in this whole argument. Don't overthink it. So look, now I've got it the way I want it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. Okay. And I'll toggle over to Facebook. I'm going to look her up. There she is. There's Jay. We're going to message her. Okay, just paste it in and send. So then the message is sent to her. Toggle back to Teams. So I've just got 2 tabs open in my browser. Okay. If you're on a mobile phone, you would do the same thing, except you would toggle between the apps, right? You would toggle between the Facebook app, Messenger app, and Teamzy. Okay. So now I want to log this. It was a Facebook message. See the big blue button that says log connect. Try to say big blue button fast. That's a hard one. Okay, log connect. So it's done. So now we've sent that message. Look, I've got 1 done, 8 left, and the circle's starting to turn blue. Next up is Tina. We're going to send her the same message because we don't want to overthink, but we are just going to change the name to Tina. Okay. And we're going to send this to her. Actually, I cheated because she's already up right there. So we'll just message her. Okay, done. We messaged her. We logged it. Boom. And then I would do Jody and I would just work my way down the list. Now see how that circle's filling in? When it's all the way blue, it means you've completed today's goal for prospect messaging. Now, here's the thing. Yes, you can send that same script to all 9 people, change the name. It's just hello. Do you say hello differently to 9 different people? Don't worry about it. The conversation when it happens will be unique to each person. So just send those messages. Now, as you're doing your power hour, I want you to focus on being efficient with this time. Don't spend too much time sending the messages, just send them, okay? Work your way down this list. If people respond immediately, let them sit there for a minute until you get all your messages out so you don't get sidetracked, okay? So I'm going to work down my prospect list. I'm going to send 9 messages in my case till this is done. When I've sent my 9 messages, I toggle over to customers and I start messaging customers. I'm going to start with whoever's up next. So up next is Melissa. I'm going to message her. So I'll go to my scripts to get an idea of something to say. There's all kinds of scripts in here for customers. I love this one. Hi, who was it? Hi, Melissa. You're going to change the name, right? Hi, Melissa. How are you enjoying the products? Now take out the words, the products, and put in what they're using. Please don't send it with brackets, the products, right? So how are you enjoying, whatever products they're using? Please send me an update. Let me know it can be of help. So that's a very professional yet friendly one. And then here's the one, my favorite one for sending to a customer, which is, hi, Jane, just checking in to see if there's anything I can do to make your day. Remember, that's our goal, is just to make their day. It's no different with customers. A lot of times we think that all of our messages to customers have to be super like, your shipment is on Tuesday. Would you like to add to your shipment? Or you can do those messages, but also just checking in to let them know you're there and that you care, right? Here's what happens when you're in regular contact with your customers, you guys. They're going to order more products. Statistically, they'll order more product and retain longer. So imagine if you can increase your volume by 25% without adding a new customer. Wouldn't that be cool? And that's typically what happens just when we're in regular contact. By the way, canceled customers, treat them the same. Treat them the same. Stay in touch with them, connect with them. People cancel and come back constantly. Okay. I've been drinking that Beachbody shake for 8 years. I've canceled 18, 20 times. But I never stopped drinking it. It's just that sometimes I get behind or I get too much, right? So have you guys noticed that with some of your customers? They'll be like, yeah, I want to cancel for now because I went on vacation and now I've got tons of stuff. It's not because they don't want to be your customer anymore. So always treat people as a customer for life. Okay, treat them as a customer for life. It's really important. Okay, next. So you're going to work your way down your customer list, whatever your goal is. Mine was 6. I'm going to message 6 customers and then move to my team. Okay. And now I'm going to connect with my team. Thinking of you today. How's everything going? Is there anything I can do to help? Do you need anything? How the heck are you? Right? Just checking in with them. You guys, this is why we called it Teamzy. It's about building the team, and people are more motivated by relationship than they are by money. They want to feel connected to you. And as your team grows and you become more successful, it means even more, right? Think about that upline person from you that you really look up to. The really successful one. Now imagine if they texted you right now, just a quick little message. Wouldn't it be amazing? So that's how we want you to build your team. The relationship, the connection to the leader, it impacts retention like crazy. Why are we going to spend all this time recruiting and bringing in new customers to have people quit 50% in their first year, which is the stat for the business? No way. We don't want that. We want to keep them. We want them to feel valued and loved and remain on the team so that we can help them be successful. Make sense? Okay. So the first half of your power hour is just messaging, make someone's day messages to prospects, customers, distributors. You message whoever's up next. You send one of my scripts to make it easy, and you're done. 30 minutes, the first half, 30 minutes. The second half of your power hour will be your follow-ups list. Okay. And if you have any follow-ups due, there'll be a little red circle with the number above it, just like your email thing does on your phone. And if you have a follow-up due, you'll send a follow-up message. Now, let me just explain to you what the follow-ups list is meant for. This is your pipeline. Have you guys ever heard that term? If you haven't been in sales, you might not have heard that term. You're creating, so over here, you're creating conversations, making people's day. We make people's day so that we can create conversations. In next Tuesday's training, I'm going to go deep into why we create conversations and how we get into momentum doing it. But we're doing it so that we can create conversations. The follow-up is following up on people who've said, yeah, I'm interested in Xyngular. Okay. So how do we get from starting a conversation to, yeah, I'm interested in Xyngular? So that's what happens in the conversation. So you start a conversation. Now they've responded. Now you have a conversation. And I want you guys, I know you're messaging, but I want you to pretend you're face to face. You bumped into somebody at the grocery store or something. You bumped into them. How would you talk to them? People are always asking me, Eric, I just don't know what to say to people. What would you say if you were face to face with them? That's different. Well, pretend, right? So I messaged Tina. She's like, oh my gosh, great to hear from you, Eric. Right? It's like, yes, she responded. Now what? So what would you do if you were in person? You would say something like, how have you been? Right? What have you been up to? My gosh, it's been forever, Tina, since we've talked. What have you been up to lately? Give me an update. Does it make sense? Just be conversational. By the way, that's my go-to, and it works. 90% of the time it works. Send me an update. What have you been up to? It's been forever. And then they'll send you an update. And the updates are usually quite detailed. It's amazing. Oh my gosh, well, we did this, and we recently bought a house, or we're moving, or we did this, or they'll tell you a whole bunch of stuff. Now you have a whole lot of things to talk about. Ask questions, be interested, look for ways to add value to that conversation. That's the most important thing. How can you add value to the conversation? How can you be helpful? It may not have to do with Xyngular. That's okay. Remember, building the relationship is the primary duty, not selling the Xyngular. With me? So how can you be of help? And there's so many different ways you can help. Sometimes it's practical. She's got a leaky roof. I know a great roofer in her area. Right? Sometimes it's spiritual. She's going through something. She needs someone to pray with her right now. By the way, that's going to happen a lot. If you're a person of faith, you'll find that happens a lot through these messages, and it's very impactful. Not just in your life, but the people you're reaching to. It's very impactful. Sometimes people just need, they need a laugh, right? And you might have something funny to share with them. So just look for ways to add value. Okay. So as we're talking, she's giving me an update on her life. We're having a great conversation. Honestly, this conversation could stretch over days because we're messaging. That's fine. But what's going to happen is after we've got her update with what's going on in her life, and we've talked a little bit about it, she's going to expect me to give her an update on my life, right? And so even if they don't say, what about you, Eric? Like it's expected that you're going to go, well, here's what we've been up to. So tell them what you've been up to, give them an update as much as you're comfortable sharing. Let them know what's going on in your life. And by the way, Xyngular is part of it, right? Xyngular is part of it. So here's how you share your business in conversation is you tell them what you do and why you're passionate about it. Okay. So mine might be something like, oh my gosh, it's been so busy. The kids are out of school already. So we're just trying to figure out what to do with them every day. Right. And did I tell you that I have a home-based business now? Yeah, I work from home. Yeah, I partnered with a company called Xyngular. It's been an amazing partnership. They're an incredible company. And this is why I'm passionate about it, whatever your story is. Okay. So all those trainers that you've heard that say, don't tell them what you do. Don't tell them it's Xyngular. Oh my gosh, hide it from them. Create curiosity. I call BS on that. If you did that to me, I would never respond to you again. How many of you are wired that way too? I would just be like, no, it's okay. If you want to play that game, you can go play with somebody else. Have a nice day. Tell me what you're doing, why you're passionate about it. Why would you hide something if you're proud of it? Be proud of it. Tell them why you love Xyngular. Tell them what it's done for you. Tell them what it's done for your friends, right? And here's what I'll tell you. When you share what you're doing and why you're passionate about it, people will always be excited for you. They'll always be excited for you. Even the people, even your hardcore uncle that's like, network marketing is a pyramid scheme, it's a terrible idea, he'll be happy for you because you're passionate about it. Does it make sense? This is the absolute best place to be in a relationship with somebody. You're excited, they're excited for you. Okay, it's just, you know, do you guys ever feel like you got off on the wrong foot regarding your business with somebody you care about? This gets you on the right foot. Then it's like, they're like, oh, good for you, Eric. That's great. I'm really glad you found something. Yeah, it has been really a blessing finding this business. And, you know, by the way, Tina, if you're ever interested in learning more, just let me know. I'd be happy to get you some more information. Or if anyone you care about could benefit from this, let me know and I'll get them info too. Okay, Eric, yeah, sure thing. I'll keep that in mind. That's the worst thing she could say to me in this situation. Okay, Eric, I'll keep that in mind. Okay. But she might also say, yeah, I might want a little bit more information. Let's talk a little bit more about it. And that is where we move towards a share and get her on my follow-ups list. Does this make sense? If she said, I'll keep that in mind, no problem. She cycles through Teamzy in a month or two. I talk to her again. And each time I talk to her, that conversation gets deeper. But if she says, yeah, I'd like some more information, now is where we have a real conversation. You know, okay, great. Oh, I can't wait to talk to you. Let's get off this chat though and have a real conversation. You know, 5-10 minutes is all it'll take. But I want to find out what your goals are, Tina, and see if I can help you. Yeah, great. So what's best for you? Do you want to do a Zoom, FaceTime, or just a regular phone call? Great. So now I'm going to move her into a real conversation. We're going to talk a little bit. Are you guys with me? This conversation is where I'm going to share the business, or I'm going to share a product solution, depending on what she needs. Right. So I'll ask a couple of questions. What are you most interested in learning about? Is it about how the products work, how they've impacted me and helped my customers? Or are you interested in the financial benefits of having your own business? Like what's most interesting? Okay, great. So now I know where to lead this presentation, this conversation. Are you with me? And so this is the place where I share with her, because she said, yes, I want to learn more. Now I have somebody who's interested. We've done it the right way. She's interested in learning, right? So after we have this great conversation, I'm going to immediately put her on my follow-ups list. Even if she says, Eric, by everything that's holy, I will sign up tonight. I've got my credit card out of my purse. I'm ready to do it. I'm going to do it right now. I'd say, perfect. Oh, that's so awesome, Tina. Welcome to the team. And I'll check in tomorrow to make sure see if you have any questions. Why am I putting her on my follow-ups list? Because 80% of the time, they don't follow through on that. Have you guys experienced that? And I know this, and I know that it's going to take mostly 7 to 10 follow-ups to get her to follow through on that promise. That's okay. Because I know that going into advanced, I'm not emotionally caught up in the thought that she's going to sign up tonight. Are you guys with me? So I put her on that follow-ups list. So let's just show you how this works. And I know we're over time. So let me do this real quick, and then we'll do some Q&A. So she's not on my dashboard, so I'm going to look her up. That brings me, wow, we got a lot of Christinas and Tinas. Okay, here we go. So that'll take me to her contact record, right? And I'm going to open up the connect box just so it looks just like the dashboard. So this is her contact record. So I can log, you can log something with somebody anytime. They don't have to be on the dashboard today, right? So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to log that we had a great Zoom. I'm going to put all the notes from our Zoom in here. And is that bothering anybody? Okay. I'm going to put all the notes from our Zoom in here, and then I'm going to click on share. See where it says share in the bottom left? And I'm going to take it off the default, which is just to connect, to make someone stay, to talk. And I'm going to put it on business opportunity, that I shared the business opportunity with her. As soon as I create this into a share, it immediately sets a follow-up for her. It'll default to 2 days into the future. See that follow-up right there? In 2 days. Now, you can customize it by clicking on it. That follow-up is a fail-safe in case you forget, right? I would usually follow up tomorrow and then log it. So now you can see it logged the video chat, it set the follow-up for the future, which is going to be tomorrow. If I go to my dashboard, you'll see on my follow-ups list, there she is, due tomorrow. Isn't that easy? Yeah. So tomorrow when I'm doing my power hour, I'll connect with prospects, customers, distributors. It'll show that I have one due. It'll be to Tina, and I'll send her a follow-up message. This is how easy it is, you guys. It is so easy to follow up. You just go to scripts. You get a script that says follow-up number 1. Okay. Now, I want you guys to know I put 10 follow-up scripts in here for you to use. They're numbered in order. Okay. So after number 1, you send them number 2, then number 3. You cannot mess this up. You have to really be distracted to mess this up. So I'm going to copy that script. We're going to do exactly like we did before. We're going to paste it in there. We're going to change the name to Tina. Okay. And we're going to send her this message. Super easy. We'll go lickety split. Follow-up message sent. Log it. Now, what happens when you log a follow-up is it'll ask you, does this complete today's follow-up that you had scheduled? So we're going to leave that checked because it does. But then we want to click, before we close it, we click on add another follow-up. So we always want to set the next one, right? So let's say we'll follow up again on Friday. Okay, great. So I set the follow-up. I'm going to put my note in here, FU2, which, by the way, is shorthand for follow-up number 2. Just clarifying that. Becky laughed a little quick on that one. You may feel that way sometimes, but that's not what we're doing. No, we're going to set. So when I create this, now I've set this up. Okay, yep, I'm completing today's and I'm setting a new one. And now I complete it. So now you'll look at it and it says, okay, follow-up due on Friday. If I click on that follow-up, it actually has the note follow-up number 2. So on Friday, when I do my power hour, I see that note. I come in here and I just grab follow-up number 2. You see how easy this is? When I send this one, on my note, I'm going to write follow-up number 3. So I don't have to think. Let Teamzy do thinking for you. Let Teamzy do thinking for you. Now, real quick on this, you guys. This is how this works. You start conversations by making people's day. They respond. Now have a conversation with them. The goal is to add value to that conversation and look for opportunities to share what you do and why you're passionate about it. When they have some interest, find out what they need and share the solution to them. Then put them on that follow-ups list. Okay. So every day you're creating conversations, you're continuing conversations, and you're sharing, and then you're doing your follow-ups. This is your Teamzy Power Hour. You do this 5 days a week. And what will happen is at the end of every month, there will be conversions. There will always be conversions. People will be on that follow-ups list. So just so you guys understand how follow-ups work, 20% of people usually close within 3 days. So 20% will actually sign up within 3 days or 3 follow-ups. I mean, 3 follow-ups. The other 80% of people take 7 to 10 follow-ups. So when you have somebody who's excited and you start following up and they're not responding, it gets frustrating, right? And then they're not responding, and they're not responding, and they're not responding, and they're not responding. And now you're making up stories for why they're not responding. And you're getting frustrated. I want you guys to understand that most people won't even respond to the first 6 follow-ups. Like nothing, crickets. And most people in our business won't even follow up past the 4th. So they're missing out on 80% of their opportunity. But what happens when you continue to be checking in with people is they will, about the 7th follow-up, it's not exact, but it's around 6 or 7, they respond with, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I haven't responded. Thank you so much for staying in touch. Okay, so this is the process. Understanding this process, you use Teamzy and it just keeps you on top of it, You may have people on your follow-ups list for a year. That happens sometimes. And they end up being your top producing distributor, right? That happens that was me, by the way. How many of you took forever before you were like, okay, I see the opportunity, right? So sometimes you're your best people. So just be patient with people, understand that's where they're at. How many of you are parents? Let me see the moms. Just about everybody. Okay. Can you imagine what your children, whether adult or small, what their teeth would look like if you only asked them to brush their teeth 3 or 4 times in their life? Right? How many thousands of times did you have to ask your kids to brush their teeth? And you realize that people don't change that much when they become adults. This is why we have to follow up. They know it's good for them. You know it's good for them. You both know it's the solution to their problem, but they still have to be reminded. Make sense? So imagine how many people you're losing because you talk to them 2 or 3 times and you go, well, they're grown up. They're not interested. They are interested. Their life's just happening. Their life is just happening. You're a new thing. You have to keep interceding. Now, just real quick, how many of you are worried about being annoying by following up too much? Okay, good. We got some honest people. So let me just talk to you really quick about following up and the mindset shift that needs to happen. First of all, let me just see hands if you truly believe that the products that Xyngular has are life-changing. Oh, everyone's hands went right up. That's great. How many of you think that it's a great business opportunity for people? Okay, awesome. And how many of you are really here because you just really want to help people, like you're passionate about it? Okay, so we got the right people. Tina, you brought me the right people. Thank you. If all those are true, here's what I want you guys to understand. Somebody who's interested but has not committed yet, they're not getting those benefits, right? They're not getting those benefits. How are you going to help them? You've committed to helping this person. What do you have that can help them? There's only one thing you have. It's your ability to follow up. Why did you persist on asking your kids to brush their teeth for so long? Because you love them, right? And so you're going to persist in checking in with people who have said, yes, I want your help, because you love them. Following up is an act of love. Following up is an act of love. It's not something that's a pest, it's an act of love. And once you understand that, you won't come across any other way. But there are just a couple little tips for your follow-up messages so that they won't be annoying, and I'll teach them to you really quickly. These are already incorporated into my scripts, but here's my 2 tips for follow-up messages so they're not annoying. 1, don't ask them to do anything in the follow-up message. Okay, don't ask them, like, you've got an event on Friday and I need you to RSVP. Just check in. Okay. They left their cart they didn't finish their cart checkout. Don't mention that. Just check in. Okay. Don't say you need to call me. You need to respond to my dang message. It's my 5th message. When are you going to respond, you jerk? Don't do that. Don't ask anything of them. Just be present. The second tip is when you're sending the message, make sure they can read it without opening it. So it has to be written and short. Voice messages are great when you want to connect with somebody, sing them happy birthday, tell them you're thinking about them, but not when you're doing a follow-up. Voice messages can be very annoying to a lot of people because they have to open them and they have to be able to hear them. Does this make sense? How many of you, anybody have small kids or grandkids running around? There's no listening to a voice message, right? So what happens if you send me, I'll tell you guys, people send me voice messages all the time. It takes me 3 or 4 days to get to them because I have 4 small kids. And what happens is I see the voice message. I see that it's 3 minutes long. And I think I'll listen to that later when it's quiet. What happens later? I forgot it's there. Right? Then several days later, I'm looking through my messages and I'm down. I see 20 messages down. That voice message I never listened to. This happens to me all the time. And I know I'm not alone. But if you send a short written message, it pops on that lock screen and you see it. Does this make sense? They will read it because we're obsessed to know who sent me a message. They will always read it. And you know they're not going to respond right away, and that's okay. You want to make sure they're seeing the message. They'll see it. And every time they see it, they're going to feel good about you. They're going to remember how hopeful they were when they talked to you. Are you with me? So following up is an act of love. Understand it takes 7 to 10 for most people, most normal, good people. Don't be discouraged by that. Just use the Teamzy system so you don't have to think or worry about it. And just each day, who do I need to contact? Who do I need to follow up with? Right? Okay, just real quick here. I want to remind you guys, did you all mark your calendars for next Tuesday? Okay. Has this been helpful? All right, so let me go in here real quick. We'll give you some action steps. Where was I? Here we go. Okay, so some of the things that you're going to get when you sign up for Teamzy. Again, teamzy.com/Xyngular. Teamzy.com/Xyngular. Get your free trial started. One thing that I didn't mention that I should mention is we are really proud to be endorsed by Xyngular Corporate, and they have negotiated a special price on your behalf. So Teamzy, you can get the 14-day free trial. Typically, Teamzy's $30 a month for access to the software. It's like $1 a day, right? That's a no-brainer in our business. But for Xyngular, it's even less. It's a third off. So thank your Xyngular corporate reps for that. It's $19.95 a month ongoing with Teamzy, 60-something cents a day, seriously, to have everything planned. If you don't think that you can generate one sale a month using Teamzy to pay for itself, you're not using it, right? You're not using it. But some of the things that it comes with, just kind of go through, reminder, you've got the CRM with power. CRM means contact relationship management. That's the type of software it is. So you've got a full-fledged CRM with the Power Hour module to make it super easy. You're able to find every contact, customer, and conversation. You've got the intelligent module to crush your Power Hour every day, view and track your leads, get your team motivated. So you've got all this software technology at your fingertips using Teamzy. And also, don't forget the scripts library is incorporated in there. So we've got all the scripts designed for Facebook Messenger, text, any type of touch point. We've got a collection of conversation starters, follow-ups, reconnecting scripts. They are not cheesy sales scripts, just so you guys know. They're just all conversational to get your conversation going. Also, you can put your own scripts in your Teamzy, which is pretty cool. You can put your own. So if you have ones you like to use, you can save them in there so they're at your fingertips. One way that I use the scripts in my Teamzy was I saved email templates in scripts. So you can send a script as email. So let's say I'm talking to somebody and they're really interested in Trim Down Trio, and I've got a whole email with information on that and how to order it and everything. I would have that loaded as a script. As I'm talking to them, I would load that up and send it to them. Does that make sense? And they'd be like, wow, yeah, I have it in my system ready to go. It makes you sound so pro, right? Well, you will be so pro. So the scripts are really cool. Also, if this training has been helpful to you and you guys enjoy this, we have a whole area of Teamzy called the University where we have lots of different trainings. Typically, you pay extra for those training classes, but this series, the Ultimate Mindset Suite, is included in your Teamzy subscription. So this is one of the things you can work through right away. There's goal setting on steroids, I call it. It's a 4-part goal series. We're going to help you visualize your BHAGs. Those are your big, hairy, audacious goals. Your SMART goals, which are the ones you'll achieve this year, and help you create a personal business standard, which is how you really visualize what you need to get done each day to make your business move, right? So those trainings are in there with downloadable workbooks, video trainings, really great courses. We've also got a course on how to uncover your why. I'm actually going to come back and teach this group how to uncover your why in a month or two. I forget the exact date, but Tina and I have it nailed down somewhere in our calendars. And then also training on relationship marketing. So all these trainings and workbooks are in your Teamzy subscription, just a little something extra and extra value in there that you guys can plug into. Okay, let me give you some action steps. So again, teamzy.com/Xyngular to get your 14-day free trial started. If you had a free trial in the past, and you didn't really do anything with it, this is your chance to get in there and do it. Now, if you had a free trial in the past, you're probably going to have to just sign up, bite the bullet and go for it, get in there and use it, okay? I also recommend that you join our Teamzy community Facebook group. It's a great group where you can ask questions and connect with other people in there that are using Teamzy. And I also recommend getting a success partner to do your trial with you, a success partner. Probably all of you are excited to at least try Teamzy right now after this call, but what some of you will do is you'll log in and not do anything, right? At least a couple of you are like me. So if you have a success partner, here's what you do with this success partner. Hey, let's do this together. Let's really do it. And what I want you guys to do is say, okay, when I do my Teamzy, I'm going to screenshot it and send it to you. And you do the same for me. Okay. Now, will you be perfect? No. Will you do about 10 times more than you would have by yourself? Yes. This is why people have success partners. You guys, as I'm talking to leaders, as you know, in my role as CEO of Teamzy, they're always like, oh, can I bring so-and-so in? She's my success partner. The top leaders always have success partners, right? So if you want to emulate those folks, you need to be doing the same thing. Okay. And then I'm going to give you one more little challenge. And again, next Tuesday, we're going to talk about a real structured program that we're going to build for you guys that's just going to set your business on fire. But what I want you doing this week is getting into Teamzy, or getting back into Teamzy where the case is appropriate, and getting active in there again, right? So the 5-day challenge is this. I challenge you guys. How many of you guys respond to someone saying, I challenge you? I challenge you guys to reach out and connect with 20 people each day for 5 days in a row. And by I just mean message them. Message 20 people a day for 5 days in a row. If you do this, it will blow your mind. The level of response you get will be crazy in a good way. You're going to be shocked at how many people respond. You're going to have lots of great conversations going. And even if you screw up these conversations, you guys, it's all good. It's all positive. It's all positive, right? Some of you are going to be going, Eric Johnson just, blew my phone up. It's literally on fire because so many people want to chat with me. Here's why this is why I always give people the 5-day challenge. We often believe the story. Oh, it's a slow time of year. There's not going on. The economy, recession, whatever. The truth is people still need to use the products that you guys represent all the time, right? So that doesn't change. So we want to keep connecting with people, keep connecting. Are you guys down for these? And then one more action step I would add is to make sure you get this in your calendar. The next one. Now, also bring people to it. If you've got people on your team that are not here tonight, try to get them to this next Tuesday. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going in deep on Teamzy Power Hour stuff like I did tonight, but they can get the replay to this. I'm going to be talking about how to use what I showed you tonight, how to use Teamzy to get into momentum. Okay, to get into momentum. See, what we're going to talk about next Tuesday is that there's only one way to build the business, and that's through momentum. How many of you have been in the business 5+ years? A couple of you? So if you've been in the business a few years, you know that if you're not in momentum, you just get stuck, right? If you're not in momentum, you're not growing month over month over month. Sometimes it feels like, man, I've been here this whole year. I'm where I was a year ago. I recently did a program with one of the top teams in Xyngular. You guys probably heard of these guys. Everyone knows them. And the leader, she told me, her name's Danielle. She told me a lot of the team is, instead of growing, they're focused on regaining rank. You guys relate to that? Yeah. And so I was like, good. We need to shake the tree because regaining rank is not a goal. That's defense. We want to go on offense. Yeah. So if you need to regain rank, great. We're going to pick that up on the way to the next thing. Okay. Are you guys with me? So next Tuesday, we'll talk about getting into momentum. What I want you guys to do this week is get into Teamzy, get your free trials going where appropriate, start using it, get help from our team if you need it to set up. Get in there and start using it and getting comfortable with it. It's going to save you so much time. If you think that it's time, I don't have time for this, Eric, you're mistaken. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you time. It's like, I don't have time to load the dishwasher, right? I'm going to hand wash all these dishes. Does that make sense? Right? No. So this is going to save you time. It's going to be amazing. And we're going to make you guys efficient, get you into momentum. So before I just talk for the rest of my life, who's got questions? If you guys have questions, feel free to unmute your microphone, ask away. I'm happy to answer anything that you come up with.
I'm curious about the Facebook group. Do people share like best practices and ideas on there?
The Teamzy community?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the group's been around for a long time. It's got like, I don't know, 16, 17,000 members in it. So you can pretty much search just about any topic and find a thread that's already happened to get answers. It's a great resource. It's a great resource.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Occasionally I'll pop in there too. I do look in there. So people will often ask a question and they'll be surprised when I answer it. Oh my gosh, you answered it yourself. It's like, yeah,
Hey,
I'm here.
hey, Eric, I
Yeah.
have a question. So, I jumped the gun and added all of my Facebook friends a long time ago, and it was really overwhelming. So my follow-ups are overwhelming every day. So I literally scroll down to what is current. How do I how do I fix this?
Yep. Okay. So we made a tool just for you. Just for you. No, this is a common issue where people set too many follow-ups and they get overwhelmed by the follow-ups list. So in this account, I only have one follow-up, but yours would look like hundreds, right? This list would just keep going on. And then if you actually click on follow-ups, there's a certain spot where you click, it actually takes you to your, takes you to this list on your follow-ups here. So let me just show you something here real quick. There's a special tool for clearing those follow-ups up. You click on this little, I'm sorry, it's over here where it says tools. See where it says tools? All right, so you need to be on the computer version to do this. You'll have to dig around for this menu on your phone. But if you're on your computer, you go to tools and you look for follow-up contacts. See where it says follow-up contacts? And then this lets you do a couple of things. So imagine yours would be a list. You could go down and you could check all the ones you want to get rid of, or you could click one button and remove all your follow-ups and just clear your follow-ups list. Like if you just wanted a clean slate, but you could also go down this list and just check off all the ones. And so when you remove a follow-up, what happens is they go back into the Teamzy flow under prospect, customer, or team.
Okay.
Right. When you set, so this, let me just tell you guys this a little bit, because I know some of you guys have been taught to use Teamzy a different way. And so this is why the follow-ups list gets there. If somebody's in, let's say somebody's a prospect or a customer, and you put them on the follow-ups list, they're not coming up on the customer list anymore. As long as they're on the follow-ups list, they're not coming up on the customer list. So if your follow-ups are now chunked up and you're not getting through them, you're not connecting with that person at all now. Make sense? So the ideal situation is the majority of your customers you're going to connect with on the customer list. You set a follow-up for a specific reason. Oh, I definitely want to follow up next Friday. Great. Set a follow-up for them and then let them release back into the Teamzy flow based on their star rank. It'll keep it simpler for you. I know a lot of people say, okay, well, when a person's new, I want to connect with them a bunch in the beginning. Great. So set 3 follow-ups for them. And then when those 3 are up, release them back into the flow. And that'll keep that follow-ups list kind of mellow. But the ideal situation for that follow-ups list is a pipeline of interested people you're following up with to sell or to convert or to recruit. Make sense? So, but this tool right here will help you clear that so you can get started again. The other thing is you can remove those Facebook friends from Teamzy if you wanted to. Do you want me to show you how to do that? So right here in the same tools page, import history, it'll show you your imports. And so like there's a Facebook import, right? You just click delete this import and it will take them out. Now, it will also delete everything you ever saved on their record. Like they're gone. Okay, so if you don't want that to happen, don't do that. But sometimes like when you're doing your imports and stuff, you're like, oh, I made it a little, I want to redo that. You can take them out and redo them. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes, thank you so much. I feel like pressure lifted off me already. I'm going to use June as a clean slate, and I'm super excited about that.
Yeah.
So are you saying that when I follow up with a customer and they're on my customer list that I'm doing, no, it's on my follow-up list because I set up, if I have a customer, I usually set up follow-up. Are you telling me that I should just let it flow with the regular customer, let it come up on my dashboard?
Yes. If you're using Teamzy regularly,
and I do,
then your customers are just here, you'll be in regular contact with them. And you don't have to chunk up the follow-up list.
Do I have to give them a higher number ranking so they'll come up sooner?
If you want them, so 5 stars is every 30 days.
Okay. Fine.
So if you want them to come up every 30 days.
So if it's a customer, okay.
So most of your customers don't need every 30 days.
Oh.
I'm just telling you the honest truth, building your business. I mean, maybe in the very beginning, you want to check in a little bit more, but most of your customers don't need to hear from you every 30 days. Like their Xyngular order isn't their top thing in their life.
Right. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe I do follow up too much. Maybe I am bugging them.
So if you checked in, let's say there were 4 stars, you know, the ones you like, there were 4 stars every 2 months, they're going to feel like you're still right on top of it. Does this make sense?
I need to refocus how I do my Teamzy. I think this has been really good because it's been a long time since I've reviewed all this.
So I always ask people, let's say something like, well, I'm not getting through my list. I say, how many 5-star people do you have on your list? And they'll say, oh, I don't know, 200. Like, there's no way you have 200 5-star relationships. Nobody has 200 5-star relationships. Somebody who's really outgoing and well-connected with lots of friends and connections might have 15 or 20 5-star relationships. Because here's the situation. If I were to message you every single month, would it feel like I'm messaging you too much? Like, we would have to be really close friends. Does this make sense? So it would be kind of like, okay, yeah. It's a little bit awkward now because it's too much. So what happens is you guys will have, this is like a discernment thing. You message somebody, you message them again. The 3rd month, you're going to feel like, maybe I'll make this person a 4-star. I feel like I just talked to them, right? And if you feel that, not to be in a passive way, like I'm avoiding it, but just when you feel that, it's like, yeah, that's okay. Downgrade them 1 star. It'll just add 30 days to their cycle before they come up again. But, you know, sometimes you'll find that, okay, they're going to be a 4-star. The other thing that happens is, you know, you'll rank people because you're like, this person, I love this person. They love me. They bring people to my business, but still every 30 days is too often. You know, 60 or 90 days is fine. So you're going to kind of feel your way through that as you go. But I want you guys to know that your list, 80% or more of your list will be 3-star every 3 months. Okay. That's how you can stay in touch with 4,000 or 5,000 people, because most of them are 3-star. Are you with me?
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned the thousands of people, because I've been doing this for so long. I feel like that's where I am, and I have so many distributors that have fallen away. Now their people are also my responsibility too. And so I feel like I get bogged down in the follow-ups and never get to the actual people that are on the prospect and even customer or distributor list, because I'm spending all of my time on follow-ups. And so I made it a goal to have my follow-ups cleaned up before I came to this meeting today, so that I could go into the month of June and really use Teamzy the way it was designed. So I'm excited.
And did you do it? Did you hit the goal?
Yeah, I only have 7 left, but it's no big deal. I can get those done.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, I will just tell you guys, you know, in my other world outside of direct sales, you know, my business partner, Mike, and I, who co-founder Teamzy, we also have a consulting company. He and I have worked together 21 years, different businesses. We're like brothers from another mother. We still do consulting, and primarily we work in the real estate industry in our consulting. So just to give you an idea, like I work with a brokerage, a real estate brokerage in Los Angeles. They're like a really high-end boutique brokerage. And the owner of the business, she has so many people to reach out to that she actually has an assistant sending the messages, and a lot of times for her. So the make someone's day part, that the assistant sends those. And then my client gets the responses and has the conversation. So like that's the next level, right? So somebody else actually sends that first message, and she just picks up the conversations as they come back to her. But so, you know, I mean, the thing is you guys will get to a place where you could get to a place hypothetically where you've grown your business and you actually need help, somebody helping you to manage your Teamzy relationships, and that's okay too, right? So you're probably not there yet, but if you guys get consistent right now, let's say you had a goal of, you know, connecting, like my example tonight, 19 a day, you could definitely manage a list of 5,000 people that way over the course of a year. Just 19 a day. Okay, you would be in touch with people. Now, would you get to everybody? No, but you would be touching a lot of people, and you would be creating a lot of conversations and a lot of energy in the business. Now, the other piece of the puzzle, which we didn't get into tonight, is that when you're building relationships and connecting with people, you get a lot of introductions to new people. And some of you have been through my boot camp. I think, let's see, Tina, have you been to boot camp?
I think so, when we very first did.
A long time ago. I mean, and I'm just looking at Tammy, you didn't do boot camp yet. No. So the boot camp, so in the boot camp, we do teach you how to get introduced to people, but the primary way you grow your business when you're working relationally, the primary way you grow your business is through introductions, which means how many of you guys love prospecting on social media for strangers? Based on how many of you raised your hand when I said, are you sharing on social media? I would guess not many of you. So getting introductions is the best way, because when somebody introduces you to somebody, they trust you already. They trust you already. And that is so, it's fun and rewarding when people you care about say, here's somebody else I care about. You say, I'm going to take good care of them for you, right? It's an amazing kind of feeling, caring for them. And so you will grow that list as well with introductions. Some of those relationships, if you had a big list, some of those relationships might be a little flimsy, like you barely know them. But as you're getting introduced, there's high quality relationships that may replace some of that. Make sense? Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question, just like on the cleaning up your follow-ups. Is there a way to do that, like on the customers and distributors, things that have been there forever that you haven't made contacts with?
Let me show you. So you're going to go to your team page, and let's say you wanted to clean up customers. Personally, I would never get rid of somebody who ever gave me money for anything, unless they told me to go away. But if you wanted to clean this up, what you do is, again, you can go to rank mode. Either mode, you can go to rank mode or you can go to type mode. No, type mode doesn't have a trash can, rank mode. So rank mode, it toggles the trash can. So if there's anybody you wanted to delete, you could go down your list and you could clean it up. Okay.
Okay, I'm just like on the dashboard where it has connect, or for you to contact them. Because honestly, I haven't been using Teamzy the way I should.
So if you wanted to get rid of Julie,
yeah,
for example, you toggle her rank and there's a delete right there.
Oh, okay. And that
or if you just
deletes
wanted
her
to
from the
downgrade
list.
her, if you just wanted to downgrade her to a lower rank, you could do that too. And then it would refresh and she's off the list. She's come back in 30 more days.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yep.
Yep. So you can delete people on the fly. Also, if you see like a duplicate, there's a cool, if you look somebody up, you put in a little piece of their name. If they're a duplicate, you'll see them next to each other. So if you have a duplicate, there's a tool for that too under tools, merge contacts. So you look up the two different contacts and then you can merge them together into one if you ever have a duplicate. Teamzy won't duplicate somebody if they have the same name, but sometimes we'll manually input something slightly different, right? Like, for example, this just happened today. I was talking to my team about one of our clients, Beck, and they're like, I don't see Beck. And they're like, oh, Rebecca, right? So in my Teamzy, it was Beck, and in their Teamzy, it was Rebecca. So that was an example of the same person twice, if that makes sense. Okay. Any other questions?
I have one quick one, Eric.
Yeah.
When I started a long time ago, I did the same thing as Elizabeth. I got so overwhelmed because I added all my Facebook friends. And so I was trying to rank them because I wanted to do everything in order, did all the steps, and then it was time to rank everyone. And it was way too many. So what I did is I got someone from Teamzy and they helped me. I deleted everything and I started again. But this time what I did is I just added my distributors first, and then I ranked them all. Then I added my customers, and then I ranked them all.
Yes.
And then the other ones, just as Facebook friends, I didn't really care if they stayed as a 3 because they would come and go. But I really wanted my distributors and my customers to come more often. So that may be something that we as Xyngular distributors can maybe suggest to new people coming in, because if we get overwhelmed with adding 3,000 people and then trying to rank them, we lose people.
Yeah, no, that's great. Now there is a way to do it in Teamzy. Once you've imported them, you can rank specific lists. So instead of ranking all, you could just go to distributors and just rank them.
Perfect.
So it would be just your distributor list. So in this case, that's all I have, right? And again, my tip again on ranking is you're just cherry picking. When you rank, you're not ranking everybody, you're scanning. And when somebody resonates with you, make them a 4 or 5, but leave everybody else the way they are. So
Okay,
it's just
my question that goes along with that, like, because we have a 30-day program, we check in on day 3 and day 9 minimum. And so we can change the date for the follow-up, right? So that it's not 30 days. We can do a follow-up for 3 days and a follow-up for 9 days.
Yeah. So if I was on Jody's, let's say Jody's my new customer, I could set my follow-up. So, okay, I'm gonna set follow-up tomorrow, save. And then I could set another follow-up for, I don't know, next Monday, save. Then I can set another follow-up, and you can leave yourself a note for what they are, right? So now I've set 3 follow-ups for Jody. So, but what I'm saying is, I know you guys do that, and I think it's great. So after you're done with that 30-day program, let her flow back in, let her come off the follow-ups list.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's
So,
perfect.
yeah, so you're doing what you want to do in the beginning. It's like boom, 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 great. She went through the 30-day program. She reordered, great. Now she's, maybe I'll check in again with her 30, let her go. So it'll be 30 days, right? When the 30 days comes up, I'll check in again. And then at that point, I'll decide, like, maybe it could be 60 days that I'm checking in with her, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you use your gut on that, but just understand that, you don't have to keep that frequency of check-in, because again, it's weird. It's just, it makes sense. So
Yeah. And it's time consuming if you do that too much too. So yeah, that's great. Thank you.
you want to serve your customers, but not be a slave to your business. Right? Okay. Another place that you can create a boundary with your customers is you don't have to jump on a message instantly. I recommend having, back in the day when we used to call each other, remember that? It wasn't that long ago, but I always told my business owners, have callback times. Let people know I call back. I return calls between 10 and 11 and between 3 and 4. So they know your callback time. They don't expect you to jump on every single call, but they know that you're going to be prepared to talk to them at that time. So you may not be able to set message back times where they know you're messaging back, but you can have those times so that you're not hair on fire, busy all the time. So let's say you do your Teamzy in the morning. So for example, this was the schedule I had when I had a full-time job and I was doing my business. I did my Teamzy in the morning before work. And then I had a half of my lunch hour to respond to messages. So there was like 5 hours where people were responding. They weren't hearing back from me. Then in my lunch hour, I would respond. A lot of them were working too. Guess what? They're getting the messages then. And then again, I'd be back in my office, not doing this stuff. So I would respond again, like 8:30 to 9 when my wife and I are just hanging out. I would respond to messages for a half an hour. And so that let me do it in like 2 30-minute blocks instead of all day long. So setting those professional boundaries, this is outside of Teamzy advice, but just as a business owner, understanding those things. Also, a business has hours. Right? A business has hours, like we're open from this time to this time. So set those same boundaries for yourself. Now your hours are flexible. So like for me, my hours were 4 to 5 a.m., lunchtime, and then in the evening, but it wasn't all day long. Right? So there were certain hours that I worked. There's certain days where it's like, somebody messages you something on, Christmas Eve. It's like, great, I'll be right on this, right after the holiday. Rest assured, I'm on it. Merry Christmas, right? So you can set those little boundaries as you go, if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me release you guys back into the wild so you can get a good night's sleep. But I really appreciate you spending some time with us. We did record this. I will get this recording to you, Tina. Actually, I'll just post it in that Facebook group. Is everyone here in the group you created?
I think so.
Okay, great. I'll post it in that group so you guys have it. And it's a link you can grab and share. with anyone you want to, but keep in mind next Tuesday, and please invite friends to it. It's going to be great. Okay. Have a great night, all. God bless
Thank you, Eric.
Talk to you
Appreciate it.
soon.
Okay, bye.